Hello friends! Welcome to Squared Plans. I'm Stephanie and today we're going to be doing a flip through of my faith planner from 2020. I'll be going through all of the spreads from January through December. You'll be able to see it all in completion and hopefully get some ideas for your own faith planner. So if that sounds good, let's jump in. To begin, the cover and the disc are not the same as what the contents inside of this planner hold. This cover came from a Happy Note that I got at Hobby Lobby in 2019, I believe. And it came with this beautiful cover, like 4 really pretty dividers, and then some faith-based paper that was for Bible study and for other faith tracking. So I moved out all of the guts of that and I'm just using the cover here on this planner, as well as these rose gold metal discs that I got in a separate pack from the Happy Planner, just to kind of match in with this cover, and I really like the combination. So the planner inside of this actual setup is a monthly layout planner from the Happy Planner. This one was called specifically Dainty Details. It's in a monthly format, so it's not divided up by weeks but by months, as you'll see, and it's very organized in a way for you to use it on a monthly basis. So as I went through the month, I would design or decorate each month, one month at a time, with all of the spreads, kind of creating a theme, as you'll see. So January was the first month I had done any faith planning, and it was very new to me on how I wanted to start. So I just started trying things and to figure out how I wanted things to look. The first month, what I decided to use the monthly for was the verse of the day reference that I used, as you'll see going forward. It was kind of repetitive, so I ended up not doing that again, but it's good if there is something where you want to read a verse of the day and keep track of it. It's a good way to track it on your monthly, so you just have a note that I did read that verse on whatever day. Or passage. You could do a full passage of whatever, but just keeping the reference part of it there instead of trying to write it all out. So an idea for using your monthly, but this ended up being repetitive, like I said, for me personally, so I ended up not doing that again. I just used a simple purple marker. I'm not sure why I chose purple, but yeah, there it is. This is the overview spread of the planner, and in January, like I said, I was just starting out and I didn't know how I was going to use this. So it's pretty sparse. I didn't really do much. I tried some things. I wrote in a goal. I tried a few thankful thoughts there, some things that I wanted to do that month. And then the habit trackers I used pretty consistently throughout all of the months for my goals. So the reason I started this faith planner was because I wanted to spend more quality time with God each day, and I had set up 3 goals for myself, including morning prayer, a daily Bible reading, and then writing the verse of the day. So this planner was mainly for me to write out that verse of the day each day and practice my lettering, kind of combining those 2 things that I wanted to do and spending more time with God. So these were filled out pretty regularly throughout the year. Really found that this planner helped keep me on track as I went through. Like I said, the overview, not that much to look at this first month just because I was still figuring out how to make this planner work for me. Here's the first of 2 spreads that I would be using for my verse of the day writing. And when I started out, I really didn't know how I wanted it to look. I started just writing out things basically in like a cursive hand and sometimes printing things. And it was okay, but I didn't really love it. It wasn't turning out how I wanted. I had seen somebody on Instagram, and I cannot remember who it was, but they had done a quote of the day planner where they were doing more visual elements with the quotes, like trying to visually represent them. And I thought that was a great idea, that I should definitely start doing more of that with the verses that I was writing each day. So that was around the first week of the year, and that really helped me kind of define my style for the rest of the year. I was just picking any color at first as well, and that doesn't stick. I kind of felt like it was just all over the page as far as colors and things. So as I go forward, I kind of refine that. And I numbered each of the days manually with some stickers just so that I could keep track of what day I was on. Then I also added some small stickers on each day while I was trying to figure out how I wanted things to look and not encroach too much upon the actual verses I was writing. So that was how the first spread came out. The second spread was a little bit better, I think. I added some black as the base color and then added, like highlight colors on each day to try to energize the black a bit. And I think that worked out a lot better. It kept with the numbering and the small little bits of encouragement next to those, but overall pretty much focused in here on the lettering and just kind of defining how I wanted it to look. So that was the very first month. The monthly layout also includes these notes pages at the end as well as a currently page, which I did not use throughout the entire year, but I decided not to glue them together in case for some reason I want to use these pages in the future for something else. So that you'll see going forward, but they were never really used. I just don't want to limit myself by sticking them together and then finding out I wanted to use them in the future. February. So the first month of January, I tried, like I said, writing in the verse reference. The month of February, I decided to do thankful thoughts. So basically, I wrote something that I was thankful for each day. That just really helped with encouragement and keeping things positive, especially when COVID kind of started to come about onto the scene. I did the decor with these really pretty bright florals and some of this like watercolor washi tape, which I think really helped bring the spreads to life and got me more energized to be in this and make it look pretty. So this was my overview spread, and as you can see, I kind of kept that theme going for the month. So I still got the bright florals, the watercolor washi colors. I'm trying to bring in those similar colors and make it all feel like one month together on, throughout February. So that's what I started to do. Again, use the habit trackers. I did start a prayer list here at the bottom, which I kind of like how it was set up here, but I couldn't figure out how to use this checkoffs area, and just some positive goal reinforcement up here, some priorities, things I wanted to do for the month, and then a little thankful overview, things to be thankful for the month. So here is the first spread of February, and I really felt like I was starting to get a groove going with the letter writing or the verse writing. I used some numbers from a extension pack that I hadn't used before, which was really nice. I liked the colors and the low profile circles. Those were really great. And then I did for decor just across the top so that it did not encroach upon the verses, and that worked out really nicely. And for the verses too, I continued that black with the pop of color each day, and that worked really well with the bright colors of the florals, I think. So here's the second spread, and again, just a top decor for that, same numbering, and then in this little bottom area, I have a little bit of decor here since there was nothing for those days. I also did a little extra verse here since February had 29 days that month, and so there was just one extra space to use. But yeah, so I think it's turned out really great. I really liked how the black and the colors were going with all of the bright colors there at the top. So for March, I changed things up again and decided to do a 30-day prayer challenge for my monthly overview. This was really great for getting me focused in on things to pray for outside of myself and my own little world. So I highly recommend it if you have kind of gotten into a groove with your prayers and you don't really think about things outside of immediate wants and needs or people who affect your life. There are plenty of other people out there that need our prayers. So this is a great way for me to get outside of my box and think of other people. And I had found it on Pinterest, and I just basically wrote in the prompts each day and then would pray for them as I went through. I think anything with a little arrow was a day where maybe I missed that, and I would pray for them on the second day, or combine it. But overall, this came out really great. And the theme for this month was based around the Dream Seeker feathers that are in the Dream Seeker sticker book. I really loved this theme a lot. The colors and things really worked well with this kind of burnt orange tone in the spread. And I think you'll see how that all kind of came together. So for the overview page, I did a nice diagonal sweep of the feathers. That was really great. Filled up in a lot of this kind of main area, which I use for decor most of the time. I moved the prayer list up into this checkoff area, which worked out really great, and I continue that going forward. Just had a little monthly goal with some decor, habit trackers again, priorities again, and then a nice little write-up of things I was thankful for the month. But overall, the decor, I just really thought I was starting to find a nice groove here with how to style this spread and throughout the month. So for the layout here, what I decided to do was a spine center decor, and the feathers worked great kind of wrapping around the spine, and they were really low profile again, not really encroaching too much onto the space where I needed to write, which really works out great. Stuck with the black and the pops of color. That worked out okay. I don't know why, but I feel like it's more colorful on this spread than it was on the green. And I don't know, I like how it turned out, but I do feel like all of the color was a little bit much as I went through. So you'll see as I go through, I try to tone down how many colors I'm using, and I feel like that ended up being the best solution. But I really thought that my monoline lettering started to come into its own around this time, and I also was really trying to focus in on using different styles of lettering for even just my standard print lettering, and that I think really was where I started to get into that groove and find my style. So that was the very first spread of the month. And then here is the second, and like I said, the monoline lettering I feel like it's definitely started to get into its own groove, liking that a lot. I did mention this, I grabbed these letters also from an extension pack lettering sticker sheet. So they're nice and low profile and didn't compete with the lettering on the page, which I liked. And more feathers here down the spine for the decor. For April, what I decided to do was a Give It to God monthly spread. There was a lot going on with COVID. There was just, everybody was on lockdown. I couldn't go out. I was just stressed out about that. I was also having some health issues at the exact same time. So I had a lot of stress and worry on my shoulders. And so what I decided to do was just to write down things and start just, purging them here on the page and giving them to God to try to alleviate some of that stress. And I really thought it worked well. This was a great time for me to do it as well because there was just so much going on that wasn't negatively affecting me. So it was a great way to use it. The theme for the month was these green leafy branches. Kind of reminds me of eucalyptus leaves. So I carry that through the entire month, and I really like it a lot, the styling of it. But you'll see I was unable to use it to its fullest for the month as we go. So here's the overview page, and you can kind of see I start to find a place for things. We've got an actual monthly goal in there. I have my prayer list again in this area, which stays there. I started to put in a verse to kind of think about or meditate on down here in the note to self. I had a little gratitude, a thankful for right up here. Again, the priorities, and then some decor, pops of decor. But again, sticking with those green tones, the soft green tones, really loved that. So for this decor, what I decided to do was top and then these corners, so kind of like a triangle with the decor. Really liked that. It wasn't too cumbersome onto the spreads or onto the verses, except for maybe a little bit here at the top and a little bit here in the corners. But I was able to work around it pretty well without too much problem. And I used those same circle stickers again here on the days. But for some reason, I decided to add a bunch of more color, and I don't think that was the right move. The practicing of the lettering I still think was working well, but I did not like that I added all this color in. Once you kind of start though, I just felt like I needed to continue, so I did the full spread, which is different colors. Also too, the pens that I use for writing most of the verses after like January, I kind of got in my groove, are these Arteza Twim markers, and they're really great for this. They have a really fine tip, which you can see for some of the finer lettering, but they also have a brush tip for coloring things in or adding in bolder lines. So I use these, and I have a pack of 100 now. At the time I had a pack of 48 and just had any colors that I wanted. So I recommend this if you are doing more monoline lettering or more doodle style lettering. These are great. I am practicing brush tip lettering for 2021, and I have found that they're a little soft, as I guess is really what I want to say. They're soft for brush lettering, so it's a little bit harder to control for a newbie. But overall, the really fine tip I'm in love with, and the colors are great. So just a heads up on that. And they can be used like a highlighter as well, as you can see here. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention in case you were wondering what I used. So again, this is how this spread came out, and a little bit too colorful, but the overall aesthetic of the lettering I thought was really good. So I had decided to taper down the color again and go back to the black with a pop of color on the second spread, and I started to do that, but I had some health issues that made it difficult for me to write at the end of the month, and so I just kind of had to abandon the verse writing for a little while, which is really unfortunate because I thought that the spread overall and the theme was really pretty, and I loved all of these leaves. These are some of my favorite leaves, sticker style leaves that I've ever seen, so I was disappointed that I wasn't able to use it. But I had thought about going back and trying to redo it once I started to feel better, but I just did not have the energy to do that. So fortunately we have a blank spread, but you can kind of get an idea of how it looked before I filled it out. So now we're into May, and for May I broke out the botanical sticker book and used that throughout the month, and I really like this as well. It has a lot of a black with kind of like a vintage floral feel, and I think it worked pretty well with this burnt orange theme tone that we have every other month. My monthly overview, what I decided to do for this was to meditate on the word, and basically I just wanted to spend a little bit of quiet time each day thinking about what I had read in my daily passage. So I just set it up. I started with 5 minutes, and then each week I added a minute to my meditation time just to kind of sit and think. And it wasn't really like meditating as you think traditional meditation goes. It's more like just thinking about God and the Word, and kind of like you're sitting in quiet prayer waiting for God to reveal things to you. So that was what I was trying to do with that, because I found that I was getting distracted in the mornings when I was doing my daily reading. Since I have an audio version that reads it to me, I would try to do other things while I was listening, and I would lose focus. So I really wanted to kind of hone in and concentrate a little bit more on what God was trying to tell me. That's how this month started out, and then I also added a thank you to the Lord each time or each day as I went through, just to kind of re-emphasize the things that I was learning or meditating on. So for the overview, again, I did a lot of decor, and I really liked this overview of, kind of like the quote area, kind of brought joy as I opened up the page and theming things out. Again, I have my thankful area. This one I had a little like almost like a prayer for myself here. I did habit trackers again. The monthly goals was mostly decor. I did a little verse here down at the bottom, and then my prayer list which pretty much stays here the entire rest of the year. So for this one, the decor on the daily task pages, I decided to kind of spread it out and do like little bits here and there around the verses, and that worked out pretty good. Most of the time they were really just little strips of floral, so I was able to work around them, or they weren't even touching anything that was important. Because I was not in love with the colorfulness of the previous months, I decided just to stick with black on this one. And I think that looked better without it. It probably would have done nice to have some pop of color based off of the theme, but the black really kind of helped you focus in on the lettering more than the color, which was nice. At this time, I think I was still using my regular friction pen on some of these that can be erased, because I can tell that I was worried about the lettering, so I was trying to do it without penciling things in beforehand. I do pencil things in before I do the color or add the color now, but I think here I was trying to do it where I was able to erase if I made a mistake. And that pen just isn't that great for lettering. I can see how it just feels a little bit more shaky and a little less bold. So yeah, I think I move back to the twin markers soon after this. And then here is the second week or second spread. And I didn't mention these numbers I got from the actual Faith Planner box set that I had gotten a long time ago and hadn't used. So I used those, and those were great, being kind of black and bold, tying in with this kind of main black decor with the vintage botanicals. And yeah, so here's how it turned out overall. I think it turned out pretty good. But again, I think the pen, using the regular friction pen that I used throughout my planner, wasn't the best for lettering. So I think I abandoned that after this month. So now we're into June. And for June, what I decided to do was to try to share God's love every day. I am an introvert and have a real hard time speaking out about God or just sharing anything about Jesus or that. And luckily this format here, I'm not face-to-face with anybody, so I can be a little bit more open and honest. It's really, I feel like I withdraw when I'm faced with a confrontation to bring up Jesus. So I was trying to get better at that. So what I did is I wrote down something I did every day that I felt was sharing Jesus in any way I could. And for the days where you see like the stickers, those are days I did not have an opportunity, or I did not make an opportunity to share God's love. So yeah, I did okay. Some of these I actually just had to pray about them too. It was hard still for me, even trying to set my mind to do something every day. It was really difficult. Good in theory, and definitely got me thinking more about trying to share God's love with people, but yeah, not like an ecstatic overnight change up with my personality. So, but good to see. And a good theme too, just a concentration of things to grow your faith. Another good monthly option. Oh, and the theme this month was kind of tied with these gold florals and kind of gold tones with these wreaths that I got from, I think this was from the Homebody. sticker book. No, maybe the homebody. Yeah, maybe the homebody. I don't remember. So here is the overview page, and yeah, like I said, kind of like a gold florals with these wreaths, and then I also added in some of this washi to kind of add in some black. I did a little decor there with some goals. Here I had a verse and a little bit of an encouragement, thankful, priorities, just decor, prayer list, that whole setup. I don't know why, but I just get amnesia. I go back to all of these colors and black. At least I had the black base with the colors on this one, but I didn't feel like it worked as well because the palette of colors of the decor was kind of limited to these like softer greens and black. So it would have been better had I limited the color scheme here, but I think overall the black definitely helps just ground it and not make it feel too colorful. I use numbers, I think, from the dates and holiday sticker book in this one, so it's a little bit more, you know, it's still low-key, simplified, but a nice option to have the dates there without kind of putting too much over onto the lettering. And then I did decor here with kind of like a top and bottom, with kind of focusing in here in the middle so that I would still have room to write out the verses around this. This is a little bit constricting. Even though I really liked the decor, it did take away quite a bit of space from some of these to write in the verse. So some of them I had to abbreviate or use lettering that was a little bit more minimal in order to fit them in. And then same here, black with a pop of color each day. Again, I felt like my lettering was slowly improving. We're into June now, about half the year, and I kind of feel like it's cleaner and the lettering is just looking better. Definitely went back to the twin markers here, so it just looks better. I can tell the finer line and the felt tip really shows a lot better, I think. So this was the last one, and then I just had like a nice little verse here with some decor at the bottom. So now we're into July, and for July, what I decided to do was a grateful everyday monthly overview. So basically just writing down a gratitude each day. And the theme for this whole month is like a wild style, almost like an animal print, pink and orange toned theme. I really liked how this one turned out. It was a surprising mix of stickers and themes for a faith planner, but I found some verses, or not verses, some quotes in there that I thought really tied well into with faith, with this like grace, but then have a mighty roar, so it kind of like tied into the faith. So you'll see that going through, and it was a surprisingly good theme, I thought, for a faith planner. So for this overview spread, again, kind of the same. I did the animal print and the pink and orange tones. This washi tape comes with like a green strip as well. It kind of goes into green and then comes back out into pink. So I just trimmed off the areas that had the pinks and the oranges and played that into this overall theme. I also added in a little bit of gray just to tie in with the black. But yeah, that was kind of the overview. Not too much different. Prayer here, verse here. Oh, in July I started doing a memory verse in this area and carry that through to the end of the year. And I started doing memory verses of the Ten Commandments, which was good. Oh, I also started to do more of a notes section here for things that I wanted to look up. I was doing more biblical research at this time, so I had a little spot for things I wanted to research. And then I did a cute little thankful for people here, not so much of a write-up. For this one, I went back to the black and a pop of color. Over here I did I don't know why, I forget what I want to do. So at the beginning I started with all the colors, and then I was like, why am I doing this? This isn't turning out well. So I changed it to black and a pop of color, and then here is where I figured out I should limit my color palette to match the theme. So I would always use black with just 1 or 2 colors from, or 3 colors from the theme. And this one had that orangey pink, the gray, and the bright pink. So you're going to see that throughout. So I figured that out around here and started to theme the colors appropriately. These are also from a dashboard extension pack, these bright pink numbers, and those turned out really cute, kind of matched in with the orangey theme of the entire month, and then with the black with a little bit of color inside of the animal print was perfect. And I just did a side border on this one, which was a nice low-key, unencroaching theme for the month. And then yeah, so here's where I took down all of the colors and kind of limited it to the theme colors, and I like that so much better. Hopefully I carry that through. I think ideally having black and one of the colors is the best, like this one here or this one here. Still trying to figure out exactly what looked the best, so I was mixing up any of the colors that I had for my theme, and that worked okay. It worked better than having all of the colors, but I think refining it even more as I go through, you'll see, turns out better. So now we're into August, and for August I decided that the meditation wasn't enough and that I needed more to focus myself on what I was reading each day. So what I decided to do was actually write down a synopsis of the reading for each day from my daily Bible reading. And that was really good, helped me concentrate more on what was actually said and listen in more. And I also tried to actually read it versus just listening to it, read it and listen at the same time on my phone. So that really worked. The days where I don't have anything written in, there was only, in the plan I had chosen for 2020, it was a chronological Bible, through the Bible in a year plan, and one day a week I was off. I didn't have to do a reading, so that's what those days are. Oh, and the theme for this month was kind of tied in with this pink and green tones, using these florals with pops of gold. So this is the overview page, and again, kind of focused in more with the decor up here. Thankful. Back to the priorities, memory verse, prayer list, goals, habit trackers. So this one was really great as far as the theme, matched really well with the teal tone of the overall month, and then just adding in that pink for fun and a little bit of vibrance with the gold. And so here I feel like, yes, I found the secret sauce with the color scheme. So I started to do what I just mentioned with the black and the one pop of color from the theme and carried that throughout the month, and that was perfect. I think that looked the best, and hopefully I don't forget about it. You'll see sometimes I get amnesia and go back to things that don't look as good as I thought they did. So anyway, limiting the color palette was great. Here I did kind of like a 4 corners style for the layout, and that worked out pretty good. Again, down here got a little bit tight in some areas, but overall I think I was able to work around it pretty well. And then, yeah, so here I decided to add in one more color because the florals had this peachy tone in it, and I should have just stuck with the pink and the green and the black. That looked really good. Adding in another color just kind of muddled it a little bit, which, you know, what are you going to do? But I had already pulled it in, so I ended up having to carry it through the rest of the spread. But overall, definitely love the black with one color. Works the best, and I thought looked the best with whatever theme I'm using. Now for September, this one was a really great spread because it was actually suggested to me to do a travel theme about spreading the word to all the nations, and I thought that was a really good idea. This is a good idea for a theme. What I was able to do was use my travel sticker book, which I had given hardly any love all in 2020 because of COVID. So it was really nice to be able to use those stickers in a way that was interesting and kind of tied in with my faith. So you're going to see kind of like a travel theme throughout. I did thoughts again on today's reading for September just because that was working pretty well for me and I wanted to keep that, motivation going. So I did that again, and then the empty days I just added a sticker for, some cuteness there. But yeah, so same theme as August on this one. I didn't change it up just because I felt like it was very beneficial for me. For the overview, again, just try to use those travel themed stickers and make it feel like, it was about going throughout the word, adventure, sharing God's love. Really liked how it turned out. It's really colorful, a little bit, different than what I had done in the previous couple months, but it felt like it was fun and energizing and great to look at. Did some more study stuff here on the kind of like top priorities area. I did another thankful, memory verse, prayer list, goals, habit trackers, and just a little bit. I was going to write something in here, but I couldn't really think of anything that I wanted to tie in. But I did think that this was kind of a nice little area and set up. So here, I got smart, you guys. I figured it out. The black in 2 colors, keep it simple, and loved how that turned out. It wasn't too distracting. I had the side borders here for the travel. There's the little collages here on the side. That worked really well. I went back to the dates and holidays, kind of bigger numbers on this one, which I think I did back in January. And I thought that they tied well with the theme as far as how they looked, the styling of them. But they were a little bit big, so they kind of encroached on some areas over here. But overall, I think that this red turned out super cute, and that limited color palette, I really just loved that a lot. Same here, I actually didn't change up. I kept it like I wanted it, and it turned out really good, keeping it all in that 3-color theme. Yeah, just really liked how this came out. I just did a little decor down here at the bottom, but nothing too drastic. Really good theme, I thought, for faith. For October, we did a kind of foil fall leaf theme. This one was okay. I was limited on what I had for leaves, so it was kind of hard for me to find things that I felt really worked out for the spread. But yeah, for this one I ended up pulling in the green leaves because I didn't have enough copper foil leaves to do the full thing with the copper. I did a blessing a day, so kind of similar to thankful thoughts or things like that, but I really wanted to focus in on something I felt I was blessed with each day. So that is how I filled out this month, a little bit of a variation, and added in a few just box stickers for days where, more for decor, but just a day off from having to write something in on that, which was nice. And here you can see kind of went all in with the copper tones. And like I said, I was limited with how many stickers I had for the fall leaves in the copper. So I pulled in that green that I had from a different book, but had a similar styling of leaves. I kept it kind of like swooshy here, which was a little bit different, kind of similar to the leaves, not the leaves, the feathers that I did earlier on for the Dream Seeker feather theme. So this one I kind of swooshed it across the monthly goals, and I think that turned out really nice with the main focus here of autumn. And then prayer list again, memory verse again. Here I had some priorities, more like goals, and then kind of focusing on things I was thankful for with my health. On this one, what I decided to do was to do kind of like a mid-page decor with the leaves falling down the middle of the page. That was good in theory. Again, the leaves are kind of big. I didn't really have control over what I had to use as far as stickers, so I tried to put the bigger leaves near the top or the bottom and the smaller leaves in the middle so that I could work around them, but it depended on what colors I had available because I also didn't want it to feel like too bunched up in color. I had a lot of different colors here that I was working with, so I pulled in 4 main colors and carried those through each one with the black. It's still a little bit more colorful than I had hoped, but I couldn't decide on just 2 colors to pull from this to make it work for the month. But overall, I think it turned out pretty good. Yeah, I don't have anything bad to say about it. It's not one of my favorites as far as the variety of colors and the shapes and stuff. It was a little bit hard to really focus in on it. I used these numbers. I think these actually came out of the dashboard extension pack as well for numbering. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Just more of that cascading leaves down the middle. So a little bit different setup. Now we're into November, and for November what I decided to do was one little word. That was interesting because I did not really do a lot of research on it before I picked it, and I came to find out that one little word is used in a lot of different ways by different people, and there's actually a thing where you take one word for the year and use it throughout the year, or you could do different things with it. And so I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to apply it at first. Originally I was thinking maybe I would pick one word ahead of time and then focus in on that each day to kind of, center myself in on something spiritually focused. But that was going to be a lot of work to come up with 30 different words, and November was a really busy month for me. So what I finally decided to do in the end was to just write down one word to summarize my day. Not really spiritually based, but helpful for me to reflect on the day and try to make the next day a little bit better. So that, in a sense, was helpful. But basically, I just kind of summarized each day in one word, and it was interesting to see kind of how each day was. It was a little bit, I don't know, a rough month November was, but overall it was good. And the theme I did was with the Homebody Seasons sticker book from the Happy Planner, and I used mainly like their soft colored pumpkins with the kind of colorful but softer colored leaves, and some of these black leaves to bring in some of the black. So you'll see that throughout. And here I did pretty much the same format. I don't think I changed too much. I have a goal, my prayer list, my memory verse, just some notes here, just some things to think about, and some thankful thoughts here, as well as my habit trackers and decor. I really liked the black mixed in with the colorful leaves. I think that really helped ground it and make it feel a little less like overly colorful. Tied it all together and gave you those fall feels. So went back to the limited color palette with 2 colors in black. Loved it. And even though I had all these colors around, I think just limiting the color palette was the way to go. So I think I finally learned my lesson and figured it out 100%. So I did that throughout here, and I did again kind of like a bottom and top decor where, these were kind of scattered about the bottom and then across the top. And that worked out pretty well because the pumpkins and things were all really pretty small, so I was able to work around them. And then I also used a dashboard layout numbering here again as well. I had this color that I don't think I'd used previously, but tied in really well with these like bluish purple pumpkins. And the second spread, I did a little bit of decor down here at the bottom, but like I said, just kind of kept that 2-color scheme. It works. I just think it looks so much better when I limit the color palette. So yeah, that's how it turned out, and I can just see how my lettering just slowly got better and better over the year. So I'm really happy with the progress I'd made. And finally, we're into December. In December, I did a very holiday-centric theme, a lot of this red glitter gold tone and pops of red foil with traditional greens and softer greens. Here for the monthly layout, what I decided to do was a 30-day of kindness challenge, which I really enjoyed and wish I had been more outside, more with people to do some of these things, because I definitely was thinking about it every day as I read through, and I circled the ones that I actually had the opportunity to do. But as you can see, I didn't get very much done. I probably like maybe a third of the month I did, maybe not even a third. But I really liked it because, again, it just got me thinking about how I could show kindness to people without doing much. You know what I mean? Just little things that I could do. I thought the challenge was great, and I will definitely try it again probably sometime in 2021. But basically what I did is I found the prompt on Pinterest, and I went out and wrote in all of the prompts on each day. They were supposed to be something you were trying to achieve each day, but I just kind of, when I had the opportunity to do it, I circled it. So that's the way I did that. And like I said, had it not been COVID and I was out and about, it would have been a lot of more opportunities for me to do more of these things. But I really enjoyed that. And the themes with the branches and the red, pops of red, really just had that holiday spirit going. So here was the overview page, and I liked this page a lot. Again, soft greens with the pops of red, bright red, and the golds. It's turned out really pretty. Mostly decor here. I have just some stickers. I didn't really want to weigh myself down with trying to think of things to fill up spaces on this one, so I kept like the goals and the priorities just decor. I did do a thankful here. I did do my prayer list and a memory verse as well as my habit trackers, but I did try to minimalize how much I had to think about things throughout the month for December just because it's such a busy time. And here I went with just a simple top decor with the leaves and the branches and kind of a wreath just to highlight things, and that limited color palette, you guys, I'm telling you, it's where it's at. The black and the green, or the black, green, and red was perfect. I really loved it, and I thought that the spread turned out really, really good. And the numbering, I used that low profile numbering from, I think, another extension pack that just, you know, didn't detract at all from the lettering itself. So it turned out really good. And then this one, the verses were a little bit more full, so I feel like the page kind of filled up a bit better. And this is a great way to end the year using this planner for lettering and the progress that I had made. So really enjoyed it. Yeah, that's basically the end, you guys. A full year in this faith planner, my first time doing a faith planner, and I really enjoyed this layout and the practice and the time I spent with God each day. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below, or go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch, and think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and we will see you next time. Bye!